Have you ever experienced that moment when your mind suddenly goes totally empty in the middle of a conversation? That wave of panic when you realize you have absolutely nothing to say? You're not alone in this, and it doesn't mean you're boring. The real paradox of conversation is that we usually have too many thoughts, not too few. Your brain is constantly producing ideas, but most of them never make it out because they get filtered before you speak. That internal filter is exactly what causes those awkward blanks. Every time you think, that's too random, or they probably won't care, you reinforce it. The more you try to say the perfect thing, the fewer options your conscious mind has left. Imagine someone tells you they've just returned from a vacation. Instantly, your mind generates dozens of possible responses. You could ask about the trip, mention your own travel plans, or comment on how tan they look. But then the filter steps in. The tan comment feels shallow. The joke might not land, and suddenly, your mind goes blank. Realizing that the issue isn't a lack of things to say, but an overactive filter is the first step toward never running out of conversation. We all deal with this same paradox every day, on dates, during interviews, at networking events. Those moments when the pressure to be interesting makes your thoughts completely disappear. Think back to the last conversation that flowed effortlessly. That was your filter temporarily switched off. Now, let's learn how to make that happen more consistently. Chapter 1. The Stop Overthinking Principle. What if overthinking is actually ruining your conversations? What if trying to say the perfect thing is the very reason you end up saying nothing at all? This is where the Stop Overthinking Principle comes in. It's simple. Say whatever comes to mind within 3 seconds. After those 3 seconds, your filter activates and starts rejecting perfectly good material. This doesn't mean blurting out inappropriate thoughts. Your basic social awareness still works. The goal is to bypass your second-guessing system. We treat casual coffee chats like high-stakes interviews, as if one dull comment could disqualify us from human interaction forever. When you apply this principle, the things you say that seem boring often lead to the best conversations. Why? Because they're authentic, unexpected, and uniquely you. If someone says they love dogs, your first thought within 3 seconds might be, what kind? Or, my neighbor has a dog that barks all night. Don't analyze which one sounds smarter, just say one. Even a comment about a noisy neighbor can lead to a great discussion about difficult neighbors or noise laws, paths that would never open with a heavily filtered response. This principle instantly expands your pool of conversation topics and removes the pressure to be clever. Think about your closest friends, the people you never run out of things to say with. Notice how little you filter yourself around them. That's the mindset you want with everyone. Chapter 2. Curiosity, your conversation's superpower. The most powerful tool for never running out of things to say isn't wit, it's curiosity. People who can talk to anyone aren't necessarily the most interesting, they're the most interested. Genuine curiosity solves almost every conversation problem. When you're truly curious, questions never run out. And people love talking to someone who shows real interest because it feels good to be seen as interesting. The key is authentic curiosity, not fake interest used as a technique. Everyone has something fascinating about them. Your job is to uncover it. The moment curiosity takes over, conversation anxiety fades because your focus shifts from how you're performing to what they're experiencing. When someone mentions their job, don't just ask what they do and move on. Find what actually intrigues you. What's the hardest part of it? How did they get started? What would surprise most people about their field? These questions come naturally when curiosity is real, and they open the door to deeper conversations that go far beyond surface-level talk. In a world where most people are just waiting to speak, the person who truly listens becomes magnetic. People remember how you made them feel, not the exact words you used. Think about the last time someone showed genuine interest in your life or work. Remember how good that felt? That's the experience you're giving others when you lead with curiosity. Chapter 3. The Art of the Follow-Up Question. Great conversationalists don't succeed because they have endless things to say. They succeed because they know how to ask follow-up questions. Master this skill, and you could keep a conversation going with almost anyone. Follow-up questions turn a simple exchange into a meaningful discussion. The basic formula is simple. Listen carefully, notice details, and go deeper.
Instead of immediately shifting to your own related story, stay with their topic longer. Many people change subjects too quickly out of nervousness, but the most satisfying conversations explore ideas with some depth before moving on. Follow-up questions require no preparation at all. They come directly from what the other person just said. If someone says, "I just got back from Italy," the basic response is, "How was it?" A stronger follow-up would be, "Which city was your favorite?" Then, "What made Florence stand out?" And then, "Was it the architecture or something else?" Each question goes one layer deeper, showing real interest and making the conversation easy to sustain. We've all experienced frustrating conversations where someone asks about your day and then immediately launches into a long monologue about themselves without a single follow-up. Don't be that person. When you master follow-up questions, you shift the conversational load away from yourself and give the other person space to share more. This makes you more likable while also reducing your own effort. A true win-win. Chapter 4. Conversation threading. Never run out of topics. What if you could turn one topic into 5 different directions? That's exactly what conversation threading does. It's like having a mental GPS that always shows you where the conversation can go next. Conversation threading means identifying multiple possible topics within what someone just said. Every response contains several threads you can pull. If someone says, "I just got back from hiking in Colorado with my brother, but the weather was terrible," there are multiple threads: hiking, Colorado, their brother, the bad weather, or travel in general. By mentally noting these threads, you always have backup topics when one direction dries up. It's like having conversation insurance. The next time you're talking to someone, try actively listening for all the possible paths hidden in their words. You'll be surprised how many there are. If someone says they've been working on a website project that's dragging on because the client keeps changing requirements, you could ask about the website itself, how long forever really is, what changes keep happening, how they deal with difficult clients, or their work in general. Tracking these threads means you'll never face that dreaded "now what do I say" moment. Conversations stall when both people miss the available paths forward. Once you start seeing dozens of potential topics and even simple statements, conversations begin to feel effortless. Chapter 5. Balancing Depth and Lightness. The best conversations are like great movies. They combine light moments with deeper scenes. Too much depth becomes heavy, while too much lightness feels shallow. Learning to balance the two is how you create memorable interactions. Strong conversations move naturally between depth and playfulness. Depth builds connection. Lightness creates enjoyment. Many people lean too far in one direction, either staying superficial out of fear or diving too deep too fast and making things uncomfortable. Start light to build comfort, then introduce deeper elements once rapport is established. If a topic becomes too heavy, know how to shift towards something lighter to release tension. This rhythm is what makes conversations feel both meaningful and enjoyable. After talking about career struggles, you might pivot by mentioning a funny viral video that relates to work stress. The theme stays the same, but the tone lightens. On the other hand, after discussing favorite TV shows, you could add depth by asking whether what we watch influences how we see the world. In today's social media-driven culture, conversations often swing between extreme opinions and shallow distractions. Real connection requires both. Think about your favorite person to talk to. They naturally balance meaningful topics with humor. That's not random, it's a skill. Learn something new? Like the video, share it, subscribe for more, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Chapter 6. Recovery Strategies for When Your Mind Goes Blank. Even with all these techniques, blank moments will still happen. That's normal. The difference now is that you'll have tools to recover quickly. Recovery strategies work by giving your brain a clear direction when it temporarily shuts down. The best recovery techniques rely on your environment, shared experiences, or simple curiosity. They don't require creativity in the moment, just a reliable template. Most importantly, they sound natural, not forced. When your mind goes blank, try commenting on something around you, like the music playing or the atmosphere of the place. Another reliable option is returning to something they mentioned earlier. You might say, "Actually, I was curious about what you said earlier about growing up in Seattle. What was that like?" Everyone experiences blank moments, even professional speakers. The difference is they've mastered smooth recovery techniques that act as social safety nets. Chapter 7. The Conversation Emergency Kit. Every skilled conversationalist has a mental set of go-to topics and questions they can use when needed. That's not cheating, it's preparation. A strong emergency kit includes flexible topics like entertainment, travel, food, technology, and light current events. The best emergency questions are universal but still interesting. Keep 5 to 7 of them ready and refresh them occasionally. Instead of asking, "What do you do?" try, "What's been keeping you busy lately?" Instead of "Seen any good movies?" ask, "What shows are you watching right now that you'd recommend?" These questions work because they're easy to answer but invite more personal responses. Having an emergency kit removes anxiety because you know you'll never completely run out of things to say. Chapter 8. Self-disclosure and real connection. One of the fastest ways to deepen a conversation is through appropriate self-disclosure. When you share something genuine about yourself, you invite the other person to do the same. This works through reciprocity. The key is gradual openness, moving from facts to opinions to feelings. For example, you might go from saying where you're from to sharing how you feel about that place to opening up about how leaving it affected you emotionally. This progression feels natural and gives the other person room to match your depth without pressure. Instead of just saying you liked a movie, you could add that it reminded you of a relationship with a sibling. That small personal detail invites deeper exchange without oversharing. You're simply showing there's a real human behind your words. In a world full of digital connections, this ability is more valuable than ever. Chapter 9. The Perfect Exit. Ending conversations well matters just as much as starting them. A graceful exit leaves a positive impression and sets the stage for future interactions. The perfect exit has 3 parts: positive affirmation, a genuine reason, and a future bridge. Acknowledge the value of the conversation, give a non-personal reason for leaving, and leave the door open for future contact. All conversations must end eventually, and ending one well isn't a failure, it's a skill. Instead of an awkward fade out, you might say, "I really enjoyed learning about your photography projects. I need to head out for another appointment, but I'd love to see some of your work sometime." This approach works in any setting and always feels respectful. Now you have the tools to start conversations, keep them flowing, recover when they stall, and end them gracefully. You understand that running out of things to say isn't about lacking ideas, it's about filtering too much. You've learned the 3-second rule, the power of curiosity, follow-up questions, conversation threading, recovery strategies, self-disclosure, and graceful exits. These skills don't just make you better at talking, they transform how you experience social interactions. Conversations stop feeling like performances and start feeling like opportunities for connection. Social anxiety fades as confidence grows, and most importantly, you build deeper, more meaningful relationships. So go out there and start talking. You probably won't run out of things to say, at least not very often.